Now, you may have thought of a small hiccup in this little plan of taking a kind of a slack day, an off day of sorts, and cleaning up those tools. Well, if you didn't think about it yet, they will rust. If I leave them down here in the basement waiting on my gumption or waiting on getting the other one finished after I get my taper skill up to a point where I can finish it properly, well, yeah, they'll be a rusty mess. They'll need to clean up again. I need to do something that both excites and terrifies me. I need to heat treat these. It would seem I have perfectly leveled my anvil. It's a good thing that, at least as far as I know, come to think of it, as broad as that is, that would be altering the angle I would have to swing my hammer down at. Huh. I'm not going to blame my problems on that, but that might be a contributor. Maybe I should work on leveling my anvil a bit better. But the oil is ready to go. Other than the heat, the forge is roiling away. Also, for it all, yeah, let's just splash oil on everything. That's a great thing. Sure, why not? Okay, it rose very rapidly, past 100, past 140, and it's probably still going to be rising a bit, which might be good, because that'll give it some time to cool off. I have to say, I'm rather kicking myself for doing this now, as opposed to later. If I waited until later on in the evening, it would be darker, and it would be much easier to see colors. I'm trying to get a cherry red here, and trying to utilize the cold spot. So I think, oh, we've got some, got some of the surface oxidation for the temper colors. Trying to do this with one hand on the camera and one hand on the tongs is rather tricky. I'll stick that in with the point holding mostly out and work on getting that up to temp. And I'll see you back at punch up. Okay, you might be able to tell we are way too hot. Though we are non-magnetic on the working end. Of course, we're non-magnetic the whole way up. But the working end is rapidly cooling. So, wish me luck, I guess. Making little figure eights to make sure that any bubbles that get on get scraped off. I'm not doing it exactly to any side, one side or the other. Let me rephrase that. I'm not holding it at a specific height so that this part that's getting cooled off to a point isn't exact. Temperature of the oil has risen during this, which makes sense all in all. Okay. Some manner of cloth to wipe the oil on would have been a great idea. Oh, if only I was, prepared. Whoop. Okay, now I want to get a bit of this cleaned up so that I can watch the heat come crawling back up. emery paper I have. Not sure if you can see this kind of straw color sort of arising here where the heat's coming back up. It's very hard to see when it's, you know, dirty like that. Come to think of it, I never did the file test on it before starting to let the heat come up for the temper. I'm guessing I probably did something wrong because I am an absolute I trust my skills so well. What the? The file's skating. It's not biting in and taking big chunks off. Oh, happy day. I've hardened it. Now I need to temper it. The problem with tempering is, depending on how you do it, it can take a lot of patience. For example, I'm letting the residual heat that I didn't quench, that was just air cooling, work its way back up. And it is taking roughly 1,000 years, I think. Just for giggles. Let's polish this side up a little bit if we can. I'm thinking maybe I should have grabbed the 150 or a little more aggressive scratching emery piece. This 800 grit just doesn't do a lot with it. Okay, screw this. I'm going to run this back downstairs. I'm going to just give it a little lick on the whatchamacallit, belt grinder. And then I'm going to come up, give it a little reheat. Reheat there, and yeah, we will reheat the backside and temper this up. Huh. Is that just alright. Be right back. So it's very hard to tell what exactly has changed. Not very much. It's a little bit nicer than it was, but just by degrees. Tuck the end of it, the butt end, as you can see where the smoke's coming off, back in the forge there. And as you can see, this kind of straw-like color is already climbing up a little bit higher. There are things I could do that would be a lot more efficient anyway, a lot easier perhaps. For example, putting it in a 300-degree oven or so might be about right. I've heard a lot of people throw that number around. Oh, this camera is vexing me. New camera, I don't have it properly set up. Everything's a little bit different than my old one. Keeps going off on me. I'm not sure why. On the other hand, not that this is terribly exciting. so dull and frustrating, I keep getting impatient and running it back out to tuck the butt end of it in the forge to try to get a little more heat in it and speed it up. And I don't know if it shows up well on camera, but there's a lot of this beautiful golden color through here. But what I want is like all of that to move up here, and then a few more sets of color. Maybe I don't want the gold all the way up there. I'm trying to remember the order they come in. I might just grab my little torch and start heating it around here to get like temperature or heat in that specific area, and speed up the process a little. That could have just buggered everything all up all at once. I believe my camera keeps dying from heat. There we go. You can see that bright blue up there. That's kind of what we're aiming for. I have to say, some of the leftover oil and stuff on that is causing a bit of a problem. Speaking of problem, I hear my forge sputtering away there. Trying to see the oxidation colors in bright light is very tricky. It's doubly hard when you have schmutz on your piece. So you can see we have a very broad strip of blue in the spot that has the piece of blue in it. So I'm going to hope that that means it's pretty much spread. This end is about useless. So we'll give her a quench. You know, it would be handy if I had a little bit more room. Whoop, there we go. Outside to a brick, because I didn't bring a brick inside with me, which may or may not have been a good idea. Alright, ball punch time. I dunked that way deeper than I strictly needed to. Ooh. To say here you can see the exact opposite from the chisel, but I guess you can't if all the smoke keeps rising up. What a tease, eh? The punch did not get as hard as the chisel did, I'm assuming because the temperature of the oil was elevated by the chisel so that it did not cool off as quick and did not get as hard. That's the theory I'm operating on at any rate. Anyway, with my camera dying yet again of heat stroke, and with me being frustrated by just about everything from that day, I decided to get these 3 finished up, get them all hardened and tempered to the best of my ability and set aside for later. Essentially, I get them up to the state that they are in at the beginning of the previous video off camera. Sorry about all that, though to be fair, didn't really miss all that much. So it's quite a bit later in the evening. I'm doing that to make it easier to judge the color of this punch here. You can kind of see, I think, maybe? Nah, maybe not. But I have the end of the punch sticking out so it doesn't heat up too much. So I want it ideally to all be rather cherry red. Trying to use the fact that the forge isn't fully warmed up yet and use the dark spots to my advantage here. Worried about the end, the strike, or the working end, the point of the punch. But even having said that, oh, where's my magnet? Got a little too bright. So in the air, okay, need a little bit more before the tip though. I wish this was short enough I could just stuff it through and have it poke out the backside. I suppose I could turn around and poke it back in the way I had it in the first place. Right now this is very akin to toasting, well, that's very close, toasting a hot dog on a fire that hasn't gone all the way down to embers. Or marshmallow on way too big a pile of embers. I'm holding it in front of the forge right now, with the tip of it just out past the opening most of the time. Okay, here we go. Shut that off for once. Hear myself think, what a crazy notion. You hear the breeze blowing out the... blowing out... Whoop. Hey, if only I had a gloved hand. Let's see here, try not to breathe too much of that. This is just vegetable oil I'm quenching in. So it's not as volatile, and doesn't make as caustic a fume as, say, transmission fluid or many of the other things that people use. It makes me go, really? You would use that? You're sticking hot things in it. Are you aware of that? Like, hot things burn. You're making all sorts of dangerous fumes for your body to be breathing. Oh, but it works, so, okay, well, you know. Can't argue with that logic too much, but I would rather not end up with too much, you know, black lung or anything. Okay, those were a little too hot to try to handle from the top end. Want to capture some of that heat in there. Really hoping that that tip didn't cool off too much before I got it in here. I tried to have my quench tank close to the forge so it wouldn't have a lot of transfer time, but that tip is just so small, so fine and tiny in comparison. I filed it down to a point where it's a little, somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8. I haven't measured it precisely, but it's very, very sharp. Still, not as sharp as it was, but okay. This is down to a point, if I had my slack tub here, I might give it a little dip to cool it off quicker. It's down well past the point where I need to worry about altering it too much. It is just a little too warm to hold comfortably. I'll just get some of the bulk of the oil off. For now, it's not a full, well, a full cleaning before everything else. Before the tempering process. Though I suppose I haven't really checked to see if it actually got hard or not. That is probably the most terrifying part for a brand new smith like myself. Last time I was doing any hardening, I had, you know, a master blacksmith there to pretty much say, do this, do this, do this, now do this quick! And to watch over and make sure that if I did cock something up, or was just taking way too long, as it was in the tempering process, he could jump in and make things right. Anyway, rubbing it with this paper towel over and over isn't going to tell me anything. It's file time. God, I'm scared. Okay. You hear that? That is the sound of a file skating. It's hard. Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm going to take this downstairs, give it a quick polish, and then I'm going to try to use the forge before it cools off too much and get the temper going. Be right back. One step I forgot on the other ones was to give it a good clean with the solvent and try to get all of that oil off before sticking it back in to heat up for the tempering process. Now, problem with that then is that you have oil on your tool that's burning to it and making its own colors and gunk and all that crap, and that makes it much more difficult to tell what exactly you're seeing. I'm sure as I put some of those in, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's like, oh, I think I see a spot of color here. I haven't actually tested them yet to see if the tempering and everything is taken. I figure once this one was done, we could do them all together. Alright. Did I drop a little bit of paper towel in here? Oh, yuck. Oh, no. Crap. Well, so be it, I suppose. Alright. There are many ways you can do it. What I was trying the other day was to leave heat in the handle from quenching, i.e. not quenching it entirely. And then, need offset tones for these. and then just letting that heat slowly work its way back up. Well, now I'm thinking there's still a fair bit of heat in this forge, but it's not, you know, on. It's not burning. It's not cranking out that fire. So hopefully it will be nice and slow, but a little bit quicker than utilizing the torch, which is what ultimately I had to end up doing yesterday. The torch process works, but part of me feels like it's more of a surface hardening, whereas if you have everything crawling through the steel, theoretically it goes deeper. I don't know, I'm just making it up as I go along. I think I read that somewhere. You know, thinking is a dangerous thing. Oh, I should have shut the backside of that to hold the heat in. Whoopsie. I'm in that awkward place where it's a little too close, but maybe a little too far yet for glasses. Too close for glasses, too far not to have glasses. Take care of your eyes, take care of your vision. It's very important. Well, as the person who likes to see things and do things, it requires seeing. Though the thing I'm worrying about, the light is rapidly fading. I might just have to grab the old torch. Hook this bad boy up. I mean, the back of it is hot enough I don't want to touch it again, which is a step up, but it's not terribly hot. Hot to touch, not hot as far as the steel's concerned. Okay, well, let's make some more fire. Starting pretty much right at the shoulder of it where it's thick. And theoretically, I want the whole thing to be on a similar set, but primarily that striking end is going to be what we need. Though for a knife, you'd probably get it to like a straw color as far as the color gradients go. From what I was reading, for chisels and punches, you want to take them down to a blue, which I think is a bit softer, which I suppose makes sense, as they're typically going into hot metal and hard metal, or hot steel or mild steel, and they don't need to be as sharp. You might be able to see, maybe, there's some of the kind of golden color underneath there. And really, most of that's surface oxidation. Well, the whole thing's surface oxidation. It's just kind of a shorthand for like the temperature running through it. At a certain point of temperature, it interacts with the oxygen around it and makes this oxidation color. There, you can see we've got behind, you might be able to see. Again, I can't tell how much is being washed out. But we have that band of purple and blue working its way now. I want that blue to work up to the end. Oh, and it was perfectly smooth and steady, and then I went and cocked it all up by talking and waving my thing around. Oh my. Phrasing. licks of fire to speed up the process, because I am nothing if not incredibly impatient. But it's one of those things, it moves so freaking fast sometimes. Like there's kind of an orange behind the gold you might be able to make out. Again, not sure how well the camera is catching it all. But when that gets close to it, I'm probably going to take the heat off. And just let the radiant heat climb up it to finish that last little bit. Oh shit, I was talking too much. The purple's hit. Whoopa whoopa whoopa. Yeah, we've got purple on the very end, blue right behind it. The blue's crawling towards the end. I think I'm going to dunk it. Try to set my camera on fire. That'd have been fun. Would be good video, I suppose, if I actually caught it. I still love the ammo can as a as a quench tub apparatus. I don't have to worry about it, you know, getting a hole poked in it, really. I don't have to worry about, you know, catching it on fire. The cheap stool it's sitting on, perhaps, but not the bucket itself. So, and the seal on it when you shut it, oh, it's so nice. You might notice there are no bugs in it, despite sitting in the basement and sitting outside full of oil. Nothing's crawled in there going, oh, what's this, free meal? Yeah. But for longer things like this, you kind of need a longer quench pit. If I was doing something that wasn't as robust as this, and I tipped it over like that, I might be worried about it warping. But with this, it'd be hard-pressed to warp it. Once this is cooled off, I'm going to take it back to the belt sander and give it just the quickest of polish. It'll just be a very quick lick, rolling it around on the slack belt there. Just clean off the, all the oxidation colors and the bits of scale and whatnot. And then I'm going to just give it a little extra heat and rub a little oil into it. Well, a different kind of oil than it currently has on it. Nothing you haven't seen before and won't see again. So with this being as gigantic a mess of a video as I'm sure it has been, I will cut it off here. Chances are I'm going to change my shirt and record the outro tomorrow during the day under the cedars. So I'll see you at the cedars. New day, full regalia, beautiful autumn leaves. What a mess that was. Everything just would not work with my camera. I kept trying things that I shouldn't have in a lot of ways. But I am so glad to have it done, and it is such a relief that the hardening process took. I'll be trying them out a little bit later today to see if the tempering process took, but it was very nice the first time that file skated off that chisel, and then with the punch, oh, happy days. Happy days. I think for a lot of new people to certain skills, there's this kind of fear in the back of the mind that things aren't going to work the way they always do just because we're new and that's our luck. I'm very glad that that did not happen to me this time, I think. I haven't tried them yet, so I should keep my mouth shut. Praise not the day till evening has come, right? As usual, like if you like, don't if you didn't. leave me a comment, let me know. Could you follow this mess of an episode? Were the jumps in time bothering? Back and forth from future to past? Hopefully not. As always, have a wonderful day.